In 2025, women are being pushed more than ever to choose a career path over motherhood. They are being told to get a job, get a career, and have kids later. And while some people might not think it's a bad thing, a lot of people might actually think it's a good thing, and it's helping society and it's helping the family unit bring in more money. But in today's video, I'm going to be pulling back multiple layers of this and why it is actually a big problem in today's world. And the first thing I want to talk about is women stealing jobs. So growing up and just every day, right, in everyday world, every day in America, you hear, whether it's politicians, just your average day people talking about how immigrants are stealing jobs, or outsourcing people from other countries are stealing jobs. Well, yes, that might be true. But you know what I never hear anyone ever talk about, any politician, president talk about, is women stealing jobs. I've never heard anyone talk about this, and I don't know why. Because to me, this is more of a problem than people overseas taking jobs or illegal immigrants coming over and taking jobs. These are women taking jobs. And now, while again, it might not seem like a harsh thing, but by extension, that's less jobs for men. And it's also a way that companies can not have to pay as much. Because what happens is, when now you have two people working in a household, let's say they have a family, 3-4 kids, whatever, they're working, which can lead to now maybe one person's working full-time, the breadwinner, and then the other person is okay with working a part-time job or take a job that might be full-time but doesn't pay a lot, because they don't need the extra money. They just need a little part-time job to make extra money, instead of having the man take on a better high-paying job or working a second job. And that can lead to men not being able to reach his full potential. And what I mean by that is the fact that, let's say husband and wife, they have a set number that they need to make, right? To be financially, not financially free, but to be, financially responsible, a set number. Let's just say $100,000. So now let's say the man makes $60K and the woman makes $40K. So they're at their goal, they're at their number. They're fine, they're happy, right? They're comfortable. Remember that key word, comfortable. So now maybe there's another higher paying job that the man could take, or maybe a promotion comes up, but he decides he doesn't need it. Not that he just doesn't want to, he doesn't need to, because his wife is working a full-time job. And now what happens is he starts to lose he's not unlocking his full potential, and he's losing his purpose, because now he's just staying at a job that he is comfortable at and not taking the added responsibilities. He's sitting there at a job where he's losing out on his untapped potential, and he'll never get to that. Because again, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to make any more money. He's fine with just getting his yearly raise, and that's it. He doesn't need to find a new job. He doesn't need to get a second job. He doesn't need to get a promotion. He doesn't need to put in the extra effort at work, because his wife is working and bringing in money. So that's a problem. And not to mention as well, maybe the man does want to, but the wife is giving him problems. Oh, well, you're not going to be home as much anymore. And, oh, you're going to be more busy and you're going to be more stressed. And no, listen, babe, I work. I have the extra money. We're fine. We're good. You don't need to get a job. You don't need to get the promotion at your job. You're fine. You got to spend more time with the kids, because I haven't even mentioned this, but yeah, both parents working full-time jobs, where does that leave the kid? The kid's being raised by strangers, which it's set by design. That's what the government wants. They want to be able to program our kids. So therefore the mom can't be at home raising the kid, because she's out busy working, trying to get promotions and, doing all that stuff. So that puts a whole nother problem into the mess. Now, what can happen is, like I said, the man is losing his potential. He's not chasing anything. He's comfortable. He's fine with his average life because his wife is making the money, whatever. But what happens a couple years down the line when the wife starts to lose respect and starts to actually even have resentment towards him? Because now what can happen is the girl boss mode gets activated. The pantsuits start to come on because now, a couple years later, the wife gets offered a promotion. And the wife, again, thinking about all the extra money that she can make for herself, right? And now she gets to be the breadwinner. So now she thinks she can have control of the house, right? She thinks that she's in charge. Just because you make more does not mean you're in charge of the household. But again, going through their head, their mindset, that's what they think can happen. So now she'll come home and she'll tell her husband, like, no, I'm going to take it. We're going to make more money. We get to go on more vacations. I get to buy more stuff. It's all about me, me, me. And now she gets to do that. And now she's making more than him. And now the husband's just sitting there getting, depressed as life is just passing him by now. His friends are getting promoted. His friends are getting better jobs. And he's sitting there just there. And now his wife got promoted. And not to mention that most affairs actually happen at work. Surprise, surprise. In the workplace. But now that's where the loss of respect and the resentment comes into play, because now the wife got the promotion. Now she's around more high-earning men. So now she's surrounded by more successful men than her husband. So now she looks at her husband as less of a man. And now that gets brought home to work, and now it's causing a divide in the relationship. It's causing a divide in the marriage. All while, again, mind you, the kids are being raised by strangers, by the internet, by society. So again, I'm not really going to focus too much on that part of it, but yeah, don't forget about that whole part of childcare, and the raising of the kids is lost as well, which is why women should be primarily stay-at-home moms. Now, yes, again, obviously there are some jobs that are better suited for women, yes. But again, I'm generally speaking here, women should be not working career jobs, maybe a part-time job, but it is taking away from men being men and being able to have a better run society and a better overall family unit. Because again, when the wife starts to lose respect, she has resentment, that will lead to divorce and depression for the man. Now the man just let his whole life pass him by. He could have had better jobs. He could have gone better places, but he stayed stagnant because he was comfortable at his job. And yeah, and it's very sad that this happens, and it's only going to continue to get worse because of, and this is why it's so weird to me, the whole feminist stuff that they push for women to go in the workforce as if like that's like a good thing. Who is that a good thing for? It's a good thing for the government. They get more taxes. They get to tax both people. They get both parents out of the home, so now the kid can be raised by strangers, and that's it. And now like that's what I'm saying. It's getting pushed on women from such a young age that you need to have a job, you need to have a career, you can't rely on a man, which is just, it's so weird to me. Like, why? And again, and people will, I could be called sexist or misogynistic for feeling that way, but it's like, I don't know how it's sexist or misogynistic to want to financially take care of your wife. Why would I want my wife in a work environment where 90% of them are extremely toxic and very heavy stress levels? Why would I want that? Right? If you truly love your woman, why would you want that for her? Why would you want that? Like I wouldn't want that. I have a 2-year-old daughter. I mean, listen, that's a ways from now, but like I wouldn't want her working a toxic job. Why would I want that? But again, it's been so normalized and so pushed now in today's world, and that's the excuse. And again, like, listen, we know men's suicide rate is way higher than women, and I think this has a part to do with it. You can keep saying, oh, ask for help, and go talk to a therapist, but it's clearly not working. You need to pull back layers beneath the actual problem. And yes, women becoming girl bosses and having these careers is a negative for society, is a negative for the family unit. And it could be contributing to a lot of divorces. I mean, divorce rate it's like 50%. And that's not including how many people stay married and are very unhappily married and that have affairs and all that. So it's just like, I don't know. It's for me, from my view and my perspective of how life is, and I think it is best for the man to have to figure out the financial and carry the financial burden. Because again, and also too, women, they have to deal with childcare and labor. They go through that. If you want to have multiple kids, the woman has to take care of that. So what are you going to do during those months of pregnancy and the aftermath of her giving birth? What are you guys doing financially? And then it's such a rush for the woman to get back to work after she gives birth. And like the whole postpartum thing, postpartum depression, most of the time is because she has to go back to work and she can't be with the kid. So like, yeah, that's where that stems from, And it's just so crazy to me that it's just gotten so normalized that both parents have to have careers. And then they wonder why, relationships with parents and kids are at strain, and why there's so many problems. A lot of the world's problems start with the family unit, and you have to fix the family unit. And this is why I say voting is stupid. Politics are stupid, because they never talk about this stuff. They never talk about what's actually important. They never talk about what's behind the curtain and why these problems actually are happening. They put Band-Aids on things, like stimulus checks, and then they put up the borders and all this stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You have to get to the root of these problems. And this is not the only subject that I have pulled back the layer on and really have thought deep about this. And whether you agree with me or not, I don't really care if you agree with me or not. It's more or less of looking at the world's biggest problems, maybe problems that affect you on a day-to-day basis, and peel back the layers and really think about and examine why this is happening and why this is a problem in today's world, and what is the root cause of all this, right? Because 9 times out of 10, it is not what's being told to us. There's a deeper problem beneath the curtain, underneath the layers. And listen, I like I said, I have a 2-year-old daughter. My fiance, she's been a stay-at-home mom for 2 years now. So she stopped working a few months before she gave birth, and she hasn't gone back since. And I'm hoping to keep it that way as long, and I'm hoping forever, right? But the problem is it's difficult. And I mean, I don't want her to go back into the workforce. I mean, listen, if she came to me and wants to do it, yes. But let's be honest, most people don't want to work. Never mind just women. Most people don't want to go to a job they hate just to make money, just so they can survive. This is why the man is better equipped to handle that. So for both parents to do that, it doesn't make any sense to me for both parents to go into the workforce, work jobs they both hate, that they're both stressed out about. It's not making very much sense to me, and it's not a working formula. It's not, and it has to change. And I don't see it changing, but the man has to take the financial burden and to try. And again, I mean, women working part-time jobs, I mean, it's whatever, right? And again, there are circumstances where, yes, maybe the wife there are jobs for women that are better suited, like working with kids. I still think like nurses, things that you have to be very delicate with, have empathy. Women are good with that type of stuff. But again, women working in male-dominant work fields just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. Women cops, if you're at a home invasion or your house is getting robbed and you call the cops and 2 women show up, you might as well tell them to go home. You're screwed. I mean, like let's be honest here. You're screwed. You're done. They're not intimidating anybody. So, yeah, it's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Whether you agree with me or not, please let me know. Let me know your opinion on this. I'm always gonna make more videos about certain topics like this where I go deep into the root cause of certain problems that I think that is not being talked about or discussed enough in today's world. But yeah, please let me know your feedback, your thoughts about all this. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.